Hey, it's Adam here, and you're watching The Culture Hack, where we're talking about how to create engaged workspaces that unlock the potential of your teams and drive your business forward in ways you've never seen. So stay tuned. Hello, Michael Curtis. Welcome to The Culture Hack. Thanks for coming on. You are the Chief Hero Creation Officer at the Response Team, Inc., which is my favorite title I think I've heard here to date. So welcome, Michael. Thanks for coming on the show.
Oh, really happy to be here. Really happy to be here. It's this is something I've been looking forward to for a few weeks now. So, yeah,
Cool.
glad to be here, Adam.
Fantastic. And I think, judging by your background, I'm getting an idea for maybe what the Response Team Inc. does. But tell me a little bit about the Response Team Inc. and what it means to be the Chief Hero Creation Officer.
Sure. I get asked all the time what we do, and my answer to most people is quite simple. Actually, we build and create heroes in other people's organizations. That's what we do. We want to make sure that other people are set up in such a way that they can help others and to help themselves and their organizations without having to call outside of their organization for external assistance. That's really what we do. We help people, organizations and municipalities make sure that they know what to do before, during, and after an emergency or disaster hits their place. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Do you have some examples of some of these types of emergencies? Like, is it in the cybersecurity realm, or is it tornadoes, or everything in between?
Well, that background picture happens to be a tornado response that our team responded to in Kentucky back in 22. But it's very much what we call an all hazards approach to things. So whether it's an oil and gas incident, we do a lot of work with oil and gas companies, with municipalities, manufacturing, construction, the whole nine yards. If it's floods, it's fires, it's tornadoes, it's oil, an oil spill, if it's virtually any hazard that you can think of, we can build a plan for and organize the team to be able to respond confidently. Yeah, and so it's a very widespread breadth, if you will, of organizations that we work with all around the world too.
Well, and I think emergency response planning is so interesting because I think there's no one out there that would say it's not a good idea. Of course, it's a good idea to have an emergency response plan, but it's sometimes difficult to invest in it or think about it until it actually happens.
Yeah, agreed. Right. I often think of our you can get a binder of plans anywhere. My goal is to make sure that people take a plan and put it on the shelf, look at it when they have to do an exercise, and never have to use the darn thing. Right? Because if they're using it, it means that they've went through some very unfortunate incident that they had to pull it out for. And so we want to prepare them to make sure that they're ready to go for it. But it's one of the few service components or service industries that I know that we provide our customers with a service or a product in hoping they never use it. A little different mindset.
But I think even the act of preparing the plan gets you thinking in a preventative mindset, right?
Agreed.
So
yes. Yep.
Not only what do I do after the fact, but before. There's probably small things that you can do before that have big impact in terms of probability of actual occurrence, right?
Yeah, well, preparation is one of the four key, if you will, our four key pillars of emergency management is preparedness. So, and that's making sure that you've got those individuals within your organization that can help guide and direct that. So, yeah, and that is a culture thing. It is a culture component for organizations to be accepting and to be understanding that that's a critical skill set that needs to be there with at least some part of the organization to help guide and drive things when they're chaotic and seemingly out of control.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I think, we talk about engagement, we talk about culture, but if you're not really engaged with what you're doing, you don't have a culture of preventative mindset. If you're already fighting fires all over the place, then how are you supposed to think in terms of preventing a disaster? Is that the kind of the things you come across?
I come across that all the time, and a lot of that's mindset, right? It's a lot of mindset. It's about organizational resilience. It's about the we often hear about a safety culture without an organization. Well, the response and recovery culture is just as important, right? Mm-hmm. So, we want to make sure that things aren't happening in the first place, but when they do, how do we get through them? That's a mindset in itself, and quite often organizations don't think about that, whether it be a municipality or whether it be an oil and gas company or a construction company. We don't think about that because, we don't want to think about it.
Right? Who wants to think about the worst happening? Well, and I think, you talked a little bit about culture. Culture is great. It's easy when things are going great, but then something bad does happen and you're trying to survive getting through it, whatever it is. I think that's when it's put to the test, when the trust you have in each other and long hours, a lot of stress, it all kind of accumulates. And are you going to be able to handle it and build from there? Right?
Yeah. So, and a lot of people think about that response component of it, but it takes a triggered event of some type for people to go, oh, wait. And sometimes it's not even an event that was, caused by them or anything like that. Like flooding of your offices, for example. We're in a 3-story office building, and if our office floods and we're out of there, the flooding itself is a response that we have to deal with. But where are you going to be set up on Monday if this happens Friday? Are you still up and going the next day? And that's that whole business continuity perspective that, again, another one of those, I really don't want to think about that stuff.
Right.
But that's why we're here, is to help folks get through that stuff. Yeah.
Do you have any stories you want to share? How are you able to help companies through this process?
Sure. We had one company who, I'll talk about the business continuity side, just because that's what we were just talking about. Mm-hmm. Something as simple, not simple. Something as an example where an organization's CFO had passed away unexpectedly. And it was a small organization, about 15 people in the organization. But with that CFO went all the accounting passwords, all the payroll information, all the bank transfer information, because all of those passwords were kept up in here. And so all of a sudden this incident happened and nobody could get paid, vendors couldn't get paid, anything like that. That's one small little wedge of what a business continuity plan looks like, but it's one of the ways that we help them through that, to make sure that they had everything that they needed to get through that process. And here's a couple of ways that you can manage that. And then we wound up rebuilding a business continuity plan for them. On the response side, we're one of the few organizations that actually have response A, capability, and B, history of doing it. So the picture on my background is one that I went to in 22. Been to most of the significant wildfires in Alberta, or a lot of the significant wildfires in Alberta over the past 3 or 4 years, right? And help with the community's response to that, because that's what we do. We are the response team. So build out their emergency management plan either before or after, and just help them through it. That's create some heroes within their organization so they can move forward.
I love that. That's I think that's a beautiful way to kind of bring that all together, right? Creating heroes. That's fantastic. Thanks so much for providing some insights. I know you've certainly given me a few things to think about in terms of even my own organization. Like, if I were to disappear tomorrow, what would they do, right?
Right.
So, yeah, thanks so much for your insights, and I hope people watching get a few gems out of it. And yeah, thanks a lot.
Oh, happy to have had this chat with you, Adam. Look forward to meeting up again soon.
Hey, thanks for watching The Culture Hack. Do you want to chat culture and engagement? Give us a call and come on the show.